We have a second half of 2025, and The Simpsons may have already decided what's coming. For decades, this animated show has freaked people out with scenes that seem to echo real-world events, years before they happen. From global politics to scientific breakthroughs to full-blown cultural moments, The Simpsons has a weird habit of getting it eerily right. But what if some of their most bizarre predictions are just now starting to unfold? Before we look at the wildest predictions that might hit in 2025, you need to see how many times they've already nailed the future, almost to the exact detail. It all started with a glowing orb. Back in 2002, The Simpsons aired a scene showing Donald Trump and the King of Saudi Arabia placing their hands on a strange, glowing sphere. Viewers laughed it off until 2017, when a real photo emerged from a US-Saudi summit, showing Trump and the Saudi royals doing exactly that. But that's not even the strangest part. In the year 2000, years before Trump officially ran for office, The Simpsons showed him riding an escalator, waving to his supporters. 15 years later, that same image played out in real life, down to the way people waved and held signs. The cartoon and the footage look almost identical, frame by frame. And it gets even weirder. In one scene, Homer shrinks and ends up inside Trump's hair. While wandering around, he sees a sign that reads, Trump 2024. That episode aired more than 2 decades before Trump would actually announce his bid to run again in 2024. What felt like parody turned out to be foreshadowing. But that was just the beginning. In 1998, Homer scribbled a messy equation on a chalkboard, just a throwaway gag. But years later, physicists looked closer and realized that formula was shockingly close to the one used to discover the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle. That wasn't confirmed until 2012, so either Homer's a genius or someone in the writer's room saw the future. And it doesn't stop there. In a 1995 episode set in the future, The Simpsons showed London's skyline featuring the Shard, the glass skyscraper towering above the city. At the time, that building didn't even exist. The Shard wasn't completed until 2012, 17 years later, and yet it appears in the cartoon exactly where it stands today. Want something weirder? In 1992, the show joked about a baby translator, a goofy invention to decode infant babble. Fast forward to 2013, and companies started developing real tech to analyze baby cries and interpret their needs. The same idea, 2 decades apart. By this point, it's hard to say these are just lucky guesses, and the coincidences only get deeper. Let's talk about business moves that should have been impossible to guess. In a 1998 episode, The Simpsons flashed the 20th Century Fox logo, but with a twist. Underneath, it read, a division of Walt Disney Company. At the time, that sounded like a ridiculous joke. Disney and Fox were completely separate giants, but in 2019, it became reality. Disney bought 21st Century Fox for over $70 billion. And that wasn't their only crystal ball moment. In another episode, Lisa displays a list of Nobel Prize winners she thinks will be announced in the future. It's a blink and you'll miss it detail. But one of the names on her list is B. Holstrom. Years later, in 2016, Bengt Holstrom actually won the Nobel Prize in economics. Random? Maybe. But it's an unsettling hit. Then there's the 2012 scene with Lady Gaga, suspended in the air performing in a glittering outfit above a stadium crowd. The show aired that scene 5 years before her real 2017 Super Bowl halftime performance, where she opened exactly like that. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe something else is going on here. If their track record is even half legit, then 2025 might get weird. Fast. In one older episode, Homer casually wears a campaign button that reads, Ivanka 2028. At the time, it was just satire. But now, with Ivanka Trump already involved in politics and rumors swirling about her future ambitions, fans are wondering if that scene was more than a joke. Then there's Big Ben. In a 1995 episode, the iconic clock tower is shown with a digital screen instead of its classic hands and gears. Sounds crazy, until you consider how much London's landmarks are modernizing. Could Big Ben go digital in the name of progress? But it gets stranger. In 2004, The Simpsons introduced a device that translated a dog's thoughts into human speech. Back then, it was pure science fiction, but now, with AI-powered pet tech evolving fast, some believe a basic version of that gadget might land in stores within the next year. The predictions don't stop there. In 1996, Homer remembers an invention that applies makeup instantly, like a 1-second face transformation. Fast forward to today, and beauty companies are racing to automate skincare and cosmetics. A rapid, all-in-one makeup device, closer than you think. And finally, virtual weddings. In a 1995 episode, characters wear VR headsets and attend weddings inside a digital world. That might have seemed insane back then, but now, with metaverse tech and holograms becoming more mainstream, digital ceremonies are already starting to appear. They called it almost 30 years ago. And if these scenes are right again, 2025 is going to feel more like a sci-fi film. If the 2025 predictions weren't wild enough, some fans have taken things even further, connecting dots that no one saw coming. There's talk of hover cars becoming a reality. Not just prototypes, but actual mass production ready to roll out by the end of the decade. Sound familiar? The Simpsons showed flying vehicles casually zipping through skies long before Elon Musk made headlines. Then comes the Mars theory. A few episodes hinted at space colonization, showing humans living on Mars as if it were just another city. With SpaceX and NASA pushing hard toward a manned mission, some believe the first civilian colonies could be announced within the next couple of years. Another odd one? Libraries being shut down and turned into tech support centers. That might seem like a stretch until you realize that digital learning platforms and AI tools are replacing traditional research faster than most people expected. The infrastructure is already changing. And then, the Robot Run theme park. One episode depicted an amusement park operated entirely by AI and machines. And now, several companies are actually developing autonomous entertainment systems. Smart rides, robot staff, facial recognition for entry. It's not just possible, it's happening. None of these things are confirmed, but when a cartoon keeps getting it right over and over again, people start to take even the craziest theories a little more seriously. But here's the real question. Are these just good guesses? Or is there something deeper going on? Some people say it's all just pattern recognition. If you make enough predictions, a few are bound to come true eventually. And sure, maybe that's part of it. But how do you explain the details? The timing? The way specific moments in The Simpsons play out nearly frame for frame in real life, years or even decades later? It makes you wonder, is this just luck or something else entirely? Because while a cartoon predicting the future is bizarre enough, there's another source of prophecy that's even more precise, and it didn't come from a writer's room. Forget cartoons for a second. There's a much older source of predictions, written thousands of years ago, and what's unsettling is how exactly they came true. The Bible contains over 300 prophecies about one man, Jesus Christ. They weren't vague hints or metaphors. These were clear, specific, and detailed. And yet every single one of them lined up with events that would happen centuries later, prophecies that predicted where he'd be born, how he would live, how he would die. Even the smallest details, like how much money his betrayer would be paid, or what kind of tomb he'd be buried in, were written down long before they ever happened. Some called it coincidence. Others started paying attention, because when ancient text gets it right again and again, you have to ask, who could have known all this ahead of time? If all of that came true, then maybe the message behind it matters more than anything else. According to the Bible, every one of us is like a sinking ship. Even if there's just one small hole, the entire vessel goes under. That's how serious sin is. Not just the big mistakes, but the quiet ones we carry every day. Pride, lies, bitterness, selfishness. They weigh us down. But that's exactly why Jesus came. Not to condemn, but to rescue, to step in and take the hit for us. On the cross, he took every sin, yours, mine, all of it, and paid the price in full. It wasn't just a sacrifice, it was a swap. He took our place so we could walk free. Think of it like this. When a child comes in from the mud, they don't clean themselves. They need a bath. They need help. Jesus offers that cleansing. not just on the outside, but deep in the soul. And here's the part that changes everything. He didn't stay dead. Hundreds of years before it happened, the Bible predicted that the Messiah would rise again, and Jesus did. That's why his promise holds weight, because he beat death, and he offers life to anyone who turns to him. This isn't about religion, it's about rescue. The Simpsons might have predicted some wild headlines, but Scripture predicted eternity. One's a show, the other, a rescue plan. Whether you believe in prophecy or not, you've seen how strange this all gets. How predictions from a cartoon or an ancient scroll somehow line up with real life, but only one of them offers something personal, something eternal. So maybe the real question isn't what's going to happen in 2025. Maybe it's what are you going to do with the truth you've just seen?